The deep state are bypassing privacy laws by purchasing your data from private companies using your taxpayer money. Edward Snowden tells us that the secrets he revealed 10 years ago look like child's play compared to the technological monster that's encroaching on your lives right now. What are we going to do about it? Hello there, you 6.4 million awakening wonders. Thank you for joining me on this voyage to truth and freedom. Today, I'm able to tell you categorically that the deep state are using your taxpayer dollars to acquire your personal data from private companies in order that they can bypass laws, well, not even regulations, laws that are there to stop the state spying on you. You know how it goes. They pass a law, but they always tag a little bit. Oh, look at this way. We can actually ignore the law if we do this. Well, the way they do that is they acquire your data from a private company that you've probably consented to. Well, what if we just ask them to say okay? Oh, yeah, then they've said okay. So, unless you're willing to go, manage cookies, no, don't do that, only non-vital ones, they're boring you into tyranny. In the end, you're just like so bored and exhausted. Just take me, just throw me in a cell, just have my money, just have my freedom, just tell me what to say. You've broken me. Well, don't let them break you. Turn on the notification bell and subscribe right now. We're going to do our level best to ensure that your privacy remains yours, that your freedom remains yours. Every day we broadcast on Rumble at these times. Check us out there. Let's get into this story that reveals that Edward Snowden's brave work was just the tip of the iceberg, that now the machine has become more powerful than ever, and the only way to countenance it, it's you, isn't it?
A new report from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence reveals the federal government is buying your data from data brokers.
Most of it is sold by vendors claiming the data is anonymous, but experts argue in today's digital world, it is easy to reveal personal information. Some of the information being collected includes geolocation, your web browsing and consumer habits, and demographic information.
That's basically everything, isn't it? Listen, it's completely anonymous, except for where you are, what you believe in, what you do, and what words people say at you when they want you to look at them. Do you mean my name? Yeah, that.
Your personal data is up for sale, and it's being bought by spy agencies at the federal government.
I'm offended by this on so many levels. I'm offended that they're doing it, obviously. I'm offended that they found a way to bypass laws that they plainly just put in place because there's an outcry. Okay, we'll pass a law. Can we get around this law? Yeah, of course. It's just a law for them schmoes out there. We can ignore it. And I'm also offended that the money that they're using to acquire your data is your money. I don't want to be in this relationship anymore with the state, do you? I'm just like, I'm not giving you any money. Like, you know how they've made it so shameful to not pay tax? What? You evaded tax? That was to help children or nurses or something? Children and nurses? The very people you're destroying? Yeah, them. No, it isn't, is it? Where do you reckon the majority of taxpayer dollars end up? And how much of it, if you had to sign it off by the dollar, would you consent to? Why not have that system?
A report released by the Director of National Intelligence reveals that U.S. intel, military, and federal law enforcement agencies are buying and selling personal information on Americans.
Buying and selling, they're trading, it's mainly the government, it's mainly deep state. What are they doing that for? Okay, we got some lovely personal data. Obviously, it's anonymous. You can just tell the person's name, where they are, what they want, what they've been masturbating over, and what they've been buying. Who is this mystery person who has this face and masturbates over that and has that? Whoa, my God, who would live in a house like that? It's blown my mind. And they're selling it. They should be doing that, should they? It's the Constitution and the Founding Fathers. And of course, we will buy people's data and we'll sell it as well, in spite of a law that's meant to make it look like we're not doing that at all. We're just so out of line with the vision of what America was supposed to be. You might as well not have left. You might have come back here if you want to fuck around with dickheads.
We're talking about addresses, tracking information, browser history from smart devices, cars, social media.
Cars! They know what your car thinks of you. Amazon can lock you out of your house. These people are spying on you. The government and big tech are collaborating with one another to get your data and your money. This is how you will own nothing, you will be happy takes place, isn't it? Because there are these two sort of giant, gargantuan, unstoppable entities just closing down on you like some pitiless blank sun.
Look at everyone who's on Instagram. They're just giving their life away every single day, every bit of information. So, of course, it's inevitable, in my view, that certain government agencies are going to think, look, we can't get this data. But all these commercial enterprises have already got it. So let's get it through them.
So on one hand, they're given favourable tax relationships, favourable status when it comes to their business practices, when it comes to the inevitable lawsuits because of malpractice. And in return for that, as well as some of your taxpayer dollars, they provide the state with information that they cannot legally obtain, even though Edward Snowden revealed some time ago they're breaking the law anyway. What a fantastic system.
This used to be data that was collected through wiretaps, cyber espionage, and physical surveillance. Now it's just they're going out and purchasing.
They don't need.
That's information that James Bond and Jason Bourne had to give. Like James Bond film would be, now Bond, we need you to acquire this information. Apparently this guy's been looking at these kind of data and he has these kind of habits. There it is. There, just take it. I'm going to go out the back and see Miss Moneypenny. There used to be a whole espionage industry. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, pew, pew. There it all is. They don't need to wiretap. They don't need to put on black polo necks and go about in lotuses and, well, Q, have you got a pen that turns into a gun? No, we've just got Facebook. Told us everything. Just go and arrest whoever you want. Anyone that's got an inkling of free speech or any opposing views, shut those motherfuckers right down. Thank you. The name's Bond. We know what your name is. We've been spying on you. And also, can you explain your browse history? I'm shaken, but not stirred.
I'm afraid the room won't do.
Tell him that's all there is.
We're all just a bunch of morons, aren't we, that we've just freely given it away?
But to your point, I can quit Google.
Shouldn't feel a bit embarrassed about that point. He's just brushed past that. We're all just more. They might not. Yeah, you are.
I can quit Amazon. I can't quit my federal government. And I think that's the distinction that so many Americans have.
You can't quit Amazon though, can you? It's encircling you from every possible direction. Is that your freedom now? Your freedom to not participate in Amazon? Well, bloody hell. Then we're going to need to formulate a very different world. Now, we're not stealing your data, actually, although we should probably start. We're just trying to sell you products based on your personal will and stuff. So here is an advert for them. If you like the product, why not buy it? If you don't like it, watch the advert anyway, because I'll be funny during it, hopefully. We cannot continue to make this fantastic content without the help of our sponsors. You got to be aware that the government are prying on your activity, even now as you innocently watch this commercial. Without a VPN, the FBI could suddenly arrest you for releasing top secret material from the Pentagon. That's what that lad needed to have done. With ExpressVPN, you can freely surf the internet without worrying who's got hold of your search history and what they're going to do with that information. When you search online, watch a video or click a link, it all gets tracked by big tech companies. They can match your activity to your true identity using your device's unique IP address. When I use ExpressVPN, these companies can't see my IP address at all because my identity becomes anonymous thanks to a secure VPN server which also encrypts my data for maximum protection. And what I like most about ExpressVPN is just how easy it is to use. Just download the app on your phone or computer, tap one button and you're protected. Defend your rights with the VPN that I use for online protection. Visit expressvpn.com/brand. That's expressvpn.com/brand to get 3 extra months for free. Okay, so it seems we're in a pretty diabolical situation when we've made spies utterly redundant unless they're being used to shut down our freedoms elsewhere. But we were warned about this 10 years ago by Edward Snowden, and thankfully we took all of his advice to... Oh no, we didn't, did we? We made him go and live in Russia. Edward Snowden has warned that surveillance technology is so much more advanced and intrusive today, it makes that used by US and British intelligence agencies he revealed in 2013 look like child's play. He expressed concern not only about dangers posed by governments and big tech, but commercially available video surveillance cameras, facial recognition, artificial intelligence, and intrusive spyware such as Pegasus used against dissidents and journalists. Looking back to 2013, he said, "We trusted the government not to screw us, but they did. We trusted the tech companies not to take advantage of us, but they did. That is going to happen again because that is the nature of power." Full stop. Hopefully this time we'll listen. We won't, will we? Commercially purchased data can reveal sensitive and intimate information about the personal attributes, private behavior, social connections, and speech of US persons and non-US persons, the report said. It can be misused to pry into private lives, ruin reputations, and cause emotional distress and threaten the safety of individuals. What they've done is they've categorized it as sort of innocuous. Oh, this is just commercial data, just helps people sell sandals and cigarette lighters. But look what it does. It reveals personal attributes, right? That's private information. Private behavior, that's the stuff you're up to when you're trying to live your life. Pry into private lives, lives, ruin reputations, and cause emotional distress and threaten the safety of individuals. It's almost a limitlessly powerful tool to destroy anyone that they disagree with. Should they be able to gain access to this information? I would say no. Even subject to appropriate controls, CAI can increase the power of the government's ability to peer into private lives to levels that may exceed our constitutional traditions or other social expectations. Traditions and expectations are going to be pretty blunt tools, I would think, against this sort of weaponry, wouldn't you? And here are our traditions, not destroying people's lives. Yeah, but we got all this information now. Oh, well, but the tradition? Government agencies have to navigate an array of laws that often prevent them from tracking Americans without a court order or warrant. But there are few legal restrictions on private companies that buy, repackage and sell personal data, which the report calls Commercially Available Information, or CAI, another acronym we're going to have to learn. What it essentially has done is created this category where, well, this isn't harmful information, we're just using this to better serve the customer. We just want to know your habits and your private behavior, so we can give you the products that you want. This is what happens when your whole social system is set up around commerce and commodity, and when the only values that are cherished are convenience and safety. You end up in a situation where they can establish a protocol where all of your personal information is gathered and harvested precisely because it's meant to be for your benefit, but then just with a snap of the fingers and the pressing of a few buttons, that data is transferred to the state, who have legislative, punitive, legal power to destroy your life, to cause emotional distress. But obviously they wouldn't misuse that, would they? Let me know in the comments. That has allowed an entire industry of data brokers to flourish by selling very specific information about people. Agencies in the US intelligence community, IC, can simply buy that information from the companies that collect it. The report's authors cite a wide range of examples of government agencies considering and potentially using contracts with private companies to buy personal data. The Defense Intelligence Agency contracting LexisNexis, the Navy contracting a company called Sayari Analytics for databases of people who might be tied to sanctioned people, and the FBI contract cybersecurity company ZeroFox for social media alerts. So stuff that seems sort of innocuous, or what would be termed ordinary consumer behaviors, are now being weaponized by the deep state, and it's all done in this kind of bureaucratic haze. We don't really notice it, don't really care about it. But what I suppose I'm ultimately concerned about is the establishment of a mechanic where, one way or another, there is a centralized authority that has the ability to control your life without restriction or regulation, and without recourse or opposition, and sometimes without even conversation. The privacy dangers go beyond the US government, the report found. Foreign intelligence agencies have similar access to those companies and can buy their data. So it's not even the US government, it's presumably governments that are criticized, like the Chinese government or various countries in the UAE or Russia or whoever. But you're not going to place any moral restriction on it because there is no morality. You can't have this amount of power without ethics, without responsibility, without consensus, without the assumption, or not even the assumption, the legitimate appreciation of deserved moral authority. We're beyond that now. We're post that stage, aren't we? We've been telling you for some time that there is no faith in electoral or democratic or media or governmental systems. So you can't now have that amount of power stowed in one place. You have to decentralize it. You have to destabilize it. You have to break it down. But because the most powerful interests in the world, be they state or private, both benefit from it, the only possible force that could attack it would be true democracy, would be the power of people united. That is the only thing. And that won't happen because we're too busy hating one another for our hobbies. Concerns about foreign government access to data on Americans have grown in recent years, mostly tied to the rise of China-based apps like TikTok. Many privacy experts have stressed that while concerns around TikTok bear discussion, they miss the broader data privacy issues that the US has yet to address. Of course, during the TikTok congressional hearings, it became evident and apparent that the main problem was that TikTok was outside the remit of US control, rather than an actual problem with the principles of data capture, manipulation of that data, stowing that data, selling that data. Simply, hold on a minute, we're not in control of that bit. That doesn't seem fair. In fact, the question we have to ask ourselves now, I mean this all seriousness, who is the greater threat to your freedom? Is it the US government or is it the Chinese government? And the fact is that it's probably the US government, isn't it, actually? Because they control you. I'm not saying that they're morally worse, although maybe. But actually, the bigger question is this. Do you want big tech and the government using your taxpayer dollars to acquire your information in order to control you? Of course they'll say it's for your safety. Of course they'll say it's for your convenience. But when and how do I make you understand that safety and convenience are terms that are used to mobilize centralizing yet more power without the rigorous inquiry that that type of power must always be subject to? But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments below? Turn on the notification bell and subscribe. Watch my comedy special, Brandemic. Have a laugh. God knows you need one. There's a link in the description. It's uncensored. It's self-funded. If you like this video, have a look at either of these. And this Monday, Jordan Peterson is joining us on Stay Free with Russell Brand over on you know where. More important than any of that is that you please stay free.